The Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong sport. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Had to run back to the hotel room real quick to grab my luggage after this Giant 21-18 win at the MetLife. Oh, it was a fun day at the stadium. It was a nice day at the stadium. It was good and warm, which you got to appreciate. And even better is the Giants 21-18 win over the Chargers. You got to start off with the somber note right from the beginning because it's the Giant way. You win a game that you probably shouldn't have won. You won a game that on paper you beat a team that's much better than you, but in the interim you lose Malik Nabers to potentially an ACL tear. I mean, seriously, guys. I mean, it's just one thing after another with this team. You have the euphoria of the win, but then it's like you also have the doldrums of losing your best offensive weapon early, towards the second. I mean, excuse me, not early, but towards the end of the second half. Second quarter. Excuse me, I can't talk. I had a couple drinks and then drove back to we drove back from the stadium to the hotel. So I'm tired. I'm tired. Probably shouldn't have went to the game, but that's neither here nor there. But Malik looks like he's feared to be out for the season with the ACL tear. For those that are saying it's the turf injury again, no, it's not. If you're going to look at it, it was a free play by Jaxson Dart and the Giants offense, and they underthrew the ball. And he underthrew the ball. Nabers tried to adjust and come back, and his leg in midair coming down on the turf got screwed up. So let's stop blaming the turf there. But let's talk about the Giant win. It was really, honestly, a weird game. It was one of those games that you were kind of waiting for the San Diego Chargers to not shoot themselves in the foot. It was the two big interceptions, of course, by the Giant defense, one by Drew Phillips and one by Dexter Lawrence. And it was that Dexter Lawrence interception which really set up that other score for the Giants when he took it 37 yards, down towards the red zone of the Chargers. Like I said, it was one of those games that it was a weird game. I mean, being in the stands, when you take a win. A win is a win, but it was just a strange game to watch. Jaxson Dart was a tale of one series. Really, he had that phenomenal opening drive where he took it 80 something yards down the field for the score. And then it was kind of, we got the lead. The defense is playing well at times. Let's not put Dart in any situation where he can cause an issue to lose the game. He was 13 for 20 for only 111 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 5 times for 25 yards, but he did finish out with a respectable quarterback ranking of 96.0. I mean, it's one of those. It's what you want from your rookie quarterback. You want to run the ball. You want to run the ball effectively like the Giants did, 42 carries for 161, only 3.8 yards a carry. Their longest run of the day was Cam Scadaboo's 16-yard run. Cam Scadaboo, 25 carries for 79 yards. He got stuffed on the goal line a couple times. But it was one of those things. The Giants did what they needed to do. You needed to control the clock. You needed to have the turnovers so you don't allow the Chargers offense to go out and do anything. You have to really hold on to that time of possession, and the Giants did. The Giants had the ball for 35 minutes to 24 time of possession for the Chargers, and this is how you beat a Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, San Diego. I keep calling them. They'll always be the San Diego Superchargers. That's how you beat this Chargers team. You control the clock. Now, of course, if you take a look at it statistically, the Chargers did dominate most of statistical categories. They were 338 yards, a total of 250 yards for the Giants. What killed them was the 14 penalties for 107 yards. But, of course, the New York Giants themselves had 8 penalties for 43 yards. So it's like I said, but to me, the biggest thing is time of possession. You keep the ball away from their offense. You methodically move the ball down the field. There wasn't much scoring after that drive. Jaxson Dart did have that short touchdown pass again, but that came off of some miscues in reference to the Chargers. I like the fact that you didn't put Dart in a situation where he had to win the game, and you didn't put Dart in a situation where he would be the reason why you lost the game. It was for all the Giant fans that are getting so excited and so pumped up about Jaxson Dart. Relax. He was 13 for 20 for 111 yards. and he ran for 54, and he was sacked. Yes, he had the rushing touchdown. He had a passing touchdown. It was a very nice game. Very nice game for a rookie. But they simplified the offense, especially when Malik Nabers went out. They took out parts of the deep passing game, especially when Malik Nabers went out. You got a nice stretch from Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton, who we finally got to see again with his 3 catches for 44 yards for 14.7. The longest one, of course, was for 18. But beyond that, there was not much offense after that first drive, which I believe was 86 yards. And then his Jaxson Dart's next 5 drives, I believe he had a total of 78 yards in total offense. So this was not an offensive juggernaut. It's what you want to see out of a rookie quarterback. Don't be the reason why you lose the game. Make plays that'll help you win the game, but make sure you take care of the football and make sure you were smart with it. Now, he did have the fumble, but like I said, Russell Wilson came in for shorts. Russell Wilson comes in. What does he do? He fumbles too. So you got to look at it that way, and that's the way you have to do it. So you have to build upon what you saw today. You have to open up the offensive playbook a little bit more, and then you have to get ready to go over and play the Saints. And then after the Saints, you have that short week, and then you're going to go play Philadelphia at home. So you have to kind of, like I said, you got to kind of take this and just relax a little, because I've already seen Giant fans going off the fucking deep end. This is so, and I laugh though, because this is just so Daniel Jones-esque. Not Jaxson Dart playing, but Giant fans. Guy threw for 111 yards, and we already have him in the Ring of Honor in the Hall of Fame and a 5-time Super Bowl winner. I love people say, well, I told you I was right about Jaxson Dart. Okay, it's one game. The kid's going to have his growing pains. We've said this before. Normally, rookie quarterbacks, especially in their first start, usually have a pretty good start if they're coached well. And then the pendulum kind of swings downward a little bit because teams start getting film and they start adjusting. And then you have to readjust and you have to add more offensive spectrums to your game plan. And then you work that way and you build on a career. One day in September on August 28th is not a career. Be happy that you won. Be happy that Jaxson Dart played well. Be happy that he did not do anything that caused the Giants to lose. We'll be happy that we're also going to be happy that, the Giants defense did enough to win. You still have to figure out the running game because, like I said, you still had 13 carries for 152. And you have to be happy that Justin Herbert had an off day, and you got to be happy that Joe Alt went out with an injury. Because I think that when Alt went out with the injury, that was, to me, was the really changing point in the game itself. So you know what? What the fuck was Brian Dable going for it in the fourth quarter? In the red zone. Why didn't you just cut? You kicked the fucking field goal. They have to get a touchdown to win. You don't kick the field goal. I mean, you don't kick the field goal and you don't score. If they had timeouts, this could have been a whole different story. Brian Dable is still a fucking moron. Still doesn't know how to coach. And I love how people want him to guide the career of Jaxson Dart. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, dear. Excuse me. That's the problem when you have COVID, had COVID, and then you go out and sit in the sun all day. I can't wait for the game against Philadelphia because it's a night game. So like I said, I'm like a vampire now. So, but like I said, big kudos to Jaxson Dart. Big kudos for Cam Scatterbo for his 25 carries for 79 yards, only 3.2 yards a carry, like I said. But, you got to be happy with what you saw. You have to build upon what you did here. And you still have to fix the defense because we're still not, with our vaunted defensive line, we're still not getting any pressures. We only had 2 sacks today. You got to give a big shout out to Brian Burns. Brian Burns has been a difference maker at times on this defense. We also had a sack from Kayvon Thibodeau, but actually that was kind of a sack that Justin Herbert was really kind of pushed into Kayvon. So I didn't really count that sack. But you got to give Brian Burns to me on that defensive line. He had 4 quarterback hits. He really showed his mettle. I love it. People are going to talk about the 5 quarterback hits that Abdul Carter had. Okay, you are now 4 games in and have half a sack. You're overusing this guy. We've talked about this, but we're not going to get on that because this is a happy thought because the New York Giants take this game And we love it because you know what? We haven't had such a win in a long time. And it was great to have a win at the stadium. I personally am going to have to go now to every game until we lose because I'm now 1-0 going to the stadium this year. I couldn't go last time because I was sick, but I'm now 1-0 going into the stadium. So we're kind of happy about that. Big kudos to the Dart Man. Big kudos to Cam Scatterbo and everyone else. And it was, like I said, it was a fun win. It was a good win. It was kind of a weird win, but you know what? You gotta love it. You gotta take it because that's what you do in the NFL. You win the games. You know, you try to win the games you're not supposed to, and you try not to lose the games you're supposed to win. So let's see what happens when we go over and play the Saints. We'll have our live stream tomorrow at 11. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And as always, like, subscribe, ring that bell because you want to know why. That'll be awesome.